Yo, what's good, everyone? Welcome back to some LTC 2023 Splatoon 3 action. We are here in Round Rock, Texas. Gigantic land coming out here. We're in a small room, Nox, right now with so many people, walls to walls. We're like sardines out here watching some great Splatoon action. We just finished Silver Finals, and now we're jumping into the Redemption arc. My name's Aussie. I'm joined here by Nox, and we've got some great games coming your way. Nox, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Really excited to see this many people here for Splatoon. The room feels a little small for it, but that's because way more people turned up than expected, which is always incredible to see.
Oh, they're watching, dude. That's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
They're actually like coming in. They watch the audience. They watch Silver Finals. They were clapping during that. That was one heck of a set too. It went
People
to the
weren't
last
here
game.
for Silver Round Robin last night too. People are really into it. People are watching everything. I've seen a couple Smash players walk in every now and then, which is always fun.
Like, yo, what's going on in there? Yo, is that? Are the kids or squids, bro? I don't know.
Every once in a while, I want to come up and like fully ask you what's happening, and you get to explain it. It's great.
Yeah, honestly, that's the one thing I would literally like about some of these lands, right? Because like they started off as like Smash tournaments, Splatoon was added on later, and it's because it just makes sense because they're both on the same console. You know, it's like, oh, you're a Nintendo product, we're a Nintendo product. Let's mesh together and get
Half
this going.
the time, other games don't view us as real.
Hey, listen, we are real, and
are
we're
real.
here, and you can tell by all the people that are showing up to this. This is the second biggest land we've
Second biggest land, biggest since COVID.
Since COVID. Biggest Splatoon 3 land.
Definitely biggest Splatoon 3 land because there
there's
was
been two.
Yeah. Well, 1.5.
1.5. Yeah, we got another one coming up later too. Gridlock, New York City.
We do, and then there will be Riptide after that.
Yeah, so we got, it's like, we started off a little bit slow last year with Splatoon 3, but now that it's like going into spring, summertime, people feel a little bit more confident to come out here into the summer.
And we'll be getting new patches to play all of those with.
Yes. So speaking of, we got some brand new teams coming up to the deck here. We got Redemption. First off, on the left, we got Hamiko coming up here. We got our 5 players: Umbra, Satan, Black Wolf, Ad Hayden, and Alterna, one of them being a sub. You can always have like 5 of those players. And who we got over here for Caffeine?
We have Takoyaki, Endbound, 49er, and Shenny.
Look at them wave. I'm a big fan of
Always
that.
glad when they wave. It's always fun.
Yeah.
It's always fun to observe how the players set themselves up for these tournaments.
Do you feel like they get nervous when they're like in front of the camera like that?
Oh, I absolutely do when I play at LANs.
Really?
Yeah.
Like when you're up there?
I am infinitely more nervous on that camera than this one.
So like, okay, so like if you play like off stream, right?
Yeah, that's easier.
It's easier?
For me at least.
Even if there's people watching you?
Yeah, because it's
It's not like a device specifically pointing at you.
Splatoon players are not used to cameras on their faces.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you grow up with the online atmosphere, you know, I get that.
Look, we're all, at least for me, I'm used to playing tournaments in my PJs.
Hey, you know what?
It's peak comfort. Ideal.
I mean, what's stopping you from playing your PJs here?
Wanting to look good.
You know what? That is a fair assessment. I get that. That actually matters. So let's go over some of these weapons that Caffeine's going to be running here. Because I noticed one weapon in particular that caught my eye. 49er is an Octobrush main.
Yeah, they are.
You know me and my Octobrush.
I do know you and your Octobrush.
I can't play it.
Well, it's not your worst weapon.
It's my second best.
That's exactly. And the other one's the Ink Brush, which...
Hey, listen. We be out here brushing. But Octobrush is kind of one of those fun weapons, right? Because it gives you the ability to, like, go in, play, like, the little melee. It's a little slower than Ink Brush, but you can still, like, kind of get in there, build up your special. And then you become Spider-Man at that point. You can just, you know, zip line anywhere you want to go.
I'm really interested in seeing what specials its next kits might get. It's always really... I love speculating on next kits.
Kraken? Who said Kraken?
No,
Who said that? Who said Kraken?
So there's actually decent speculation here that Ink Brush will get Kraken over it because it had it in S1. And they're really mimicking Splatoon 1 kits pretty heavily in this game.
I want nothing more than to activate my special and just, like, ram my head into the competition.
Yeah.
Like, turn off my brain. Head empty. No thoughts.
Yeah, we'll be able to play open way more often if you get a Kraken Ink Brush because you'll be on the game again.
Yeah, honestly. That could be something that comes up. But we got some other, interesting weapons. I see Endbound's going to be running a Tri-Stringer.
Yeah, I do love seeing a Tri-Stringer come
one of your favorite weapons back in the day. You tried to make that work, you know?
I still try to make it work sometimes. It's just a ridiculously hard weapon, so I'm really interested in seeing how they do with it. And I'm intrigued to see if Takoyaki will actually bring out that classic Squiffer. It's not a weapon we ever see used, but it's got really great midline potential. And if it were to come out, it would be pretty sick.
Yeah, I mean, usually before the Squiffer, like, you know, I think of like all the other long-range weapons you could be like busting out.
But it's not a long range. It's not the same job as a long range.
Really?
Yeah, it feels more of like a midline role like Machine does. It's focused more
because
on
of the high mobility.
It has ridiculous mobility. You can charge your shots while you're in the air, unlike any other charger. Well, they charge really slowly in the air. Squiffer doesn't. Same charge speed in the air. And because of that, it can play really midliney. It can play really aggressive. And I like that it has I'm pretty sure it has point sensor. I could be wrong in remembering S2's kit, though.
Dude, imagine.
There's a chance. It could have Autobomb, and I'm flip 50-50 in my head on it right now.
Regardless, they're both really cool
They
things
are.
to have. Like, Autobomb in general, like, I used to be like, you know, when you're, like, low level, starting up the game, you know, you're C+ rank, trying to climb through the, the trenches, trying to get up there. You play against someone with auto bombs, throwing them out. You're just like, why? How do you want to shoot it, right? Like it's an enemy. That was my first interaction with auto bomb like 3 years ago. And I saw that, I was like, I want to shoot it. Like
I can understand how you would get there, especially because Torp was probably out when you started playing.
Maybe, yes, something like that. I started in the middle, like a little bit before COVID happened.
Yeah, it should have been out by then because, yeah, it came out 2019.
Okay, yeah, I started in like early 2020.
Yeah. Definitely, I mean, we're seeing some machines and some splashes, some wipers and stampers on here. Lots of really strong weapons too, which are always great to see. I love seeing wipers, especially. I love that Spanish roll.
What's that?
I've
never seen that before.
Yeah, everyone doesn't know what the Splash-O-Matic is.
Listen, it's not a Splash-O-Matic. That's a crab with a splash side.
No, it's a burst bomb with a crab side.
There you go. The splash plus burst combo go crazy.
It does, and especially if you're running. So one of the reasons we see two splashes a lot of the time is the double burst bomb is nasty. It's a little nasty.
Like nasty as in like it's way too good, or nasty as in it smells.
It's way too good. And it's probably a little stinky.
What do you think ink smells like?
I think it smells bad. I think those battlefields smell terrible. Yeah, they're squids. Why would they care?
I think of like the Nickelodeon like goop.
I always assumed that smelled bad. I'm gonna be honest.
I never thought about it. I guess like that. I mean,
it's goop.
It is goop can have no smell, or it can smell like
but like
I think of like Elmer's glue. Like
so. My thing is, squid ink doesn't smell great, and these are inklings and they're squids. So why would it smell good?
What do squids smell like?
I don't know what squids smell like.
Listen, if you have like fried squid.
Yeah, but like squid ink pasta is known for having a little bit of a funky smell.
It's like angel bread, where it's like it has tastes really good though. But you just gotta like plug your nose when you
Exactly. I think it's so I don't think the battlefields smell good, but luckily they clean themselves up after a few minutes canonically.
Do you think they have like deodorant on the battlefields?
I sure hope they do.
Like the kid. What do you think the BO situation is on the squids and the kids?
Look, they're supposed to be teenagers, and that's pretty
yikes.
Going,
yeah, like that's when you desperately
smell good
need
out
it, dude.
there.
Yeah. Well, especially when you're like running in sports. So.
Yeah, it's just I don't think they're smelling good out there.
Do they have noses?
They do.
I'm trying to like envision like an Inkling right now.
They do have a nose. They have a little nose.
They do? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I was thinking like.
I don't know why. Yeah, they do have noses.
I was thinking of like a different game. Where like there's art styles like like Final Fantasy Tactics for instance. This is an old PS1 game. Their art style they don't really have noses per se. Like they clearly do, but like they don't like show it.
Yeah,
I think I was thinking of something like that.
Yeah, they stick out a little on Inklings. They're not very noticeable though, so
that's
I can see how it happens.
That's why I was just like, wait, they weren't really noticeable.
Yeah.
Noticeable.
Yeah, they're not really noseable.
Let's jump into this game. Here we go. Splat zones. You already know going on here to goal the game, trying to paint that middle of the zone. What are we going to see from that, though?
We're going to see an Explo coming out here, a weapon that we've seen used on and off a lot on Inkblot Art Academy. It's always been really solid here. It has great paint. The rain's really good at pressuring people away from zone, and you have that height advantage. And since Explo doesn't have fall-off damage, it gets a little silly sometimes. We're also seeing a sploosh come out, so we're going to see a lot of really fast play here coming out of Hamiko. Love seeing that machine. Always going to play going to be able to play really forward along with that sploosh and that splash enabling it, and that Explo keeping great paint up for him. Yeah, good battle right there. Taking rid of that brush from 49er. Doing a fantastic job just kind of pushing back. Zippy's going to be able to get that first kill and be able to try to get this zone in the beginning. You always started Hamiko pushing up so far in that very opening start, but now we see Caffeine coming in here, turning it very orange. We got some more matches coming in, and here comes the hammer. The hammer does manage to get a pick. It has been buffed quite a lot recently, which enables it to get to do things these days. No longer a bomb. Yeah, exactly. No longer just a bomb. We see the crowd coming out, drawing a lot of attention on right and forcing Hamiko to have to kind of figure out slightly different, forcing Caffeine to try and figure out slightly different entrances. And we are seeing the machine here trying to ledge camp a little. What Machine's really good at. Machine is really solid on this map because of the height of the ledges. Now, one of my favorite things about Inkblot Art Academy is just like this little battlefield. Wow, the crab shot him for so long.
Finally broke the armor, but the Booyah Bomb still went off, forcing them to have to reposition themselves. We got Tri-Stringer up here in the middle of the map, trying to paint a little bit, get some more orange of that ink around. It's all very important to make that ink cover as much as possible. Now we see them all coming up at the same time. They got some specials about to get charged here. 2 on the mark here for Hamiko. Let's see if they're going to be able to use that to try to take back that center zone. Right now they're having trouble. They get a pick. This is huge. Save them kind of in a bad spot. Managed to back off just a little bit. Still being able to survive. A little bit more blue ink coming in. We got a 4v2 throwing out a hammer. Takes the zone. Another Booyah Bomb there. Pushing them back right now.
Yeah, they definitely are. It was really cool to see the Tri-Stringer taking full advantage of that chip. Probably overextended a little bit, but now we're seeing the Octobrush causing a lot of distraction to try and get them in. This is what you were talking about earlier, that Octobrush is so good at causing chaos and distraction and enabling them to get back in like this. Taco on that machine, able to take out the Explo, and this is zoned back over to Caffeine.
And you're going to notice that 49ers also running that stealth squid, right? You're going to be able to try to like sneak in. That's very good on brushes. Just try to like go in there and cause chaos. Ziggy's stuck between a rock and a hard place as Caffeine is starting to push up on them. Look at this chase right now. They're literally in their zone. He can't get away, and he finally gets marked on it. 2 on the left side on top of that. That's a wipeout, and now they have the middle of the zone completely orange. Caffeine is in a fantastic spot right now.
They really are. They don't have any penalty points to work through. We are seeing this Tri-Stringer being able to set up and create a lot of pressure and chip damage that might not get any picks, but will force the other team to have to try and take this right side like we're seeing right now. We are seeing the Explo go down, but there's not really anyone guarding that right side. Tri-Stringer trying to keep an eye on it. Luckily has the range to do that. And we are seeing that hammer coming out, trying to take out the machine. Probably will be able to. There they go. Looking to find another, not quite able to. Booyah Bomb coming out to try and cap the zone. There's 2 points left, and they're not able to get it. That is game to Caffeine.
That was so hard for Hamiko to go in there, right? Because that was the last push they're going to be able to have. Hamiko, one of them went one way, then they sent the 3 over to the back line. The one in the beginning got splatted immediately. So it was already a 3v4 without your specials ready to go. Besides the hammer, you were already like fighting an uphill battle. It was just looking like the second that first splat happened, I think it was the battle was over. But hey, you know what? That's map number 1. We could see some more action coming out from the other team to try to like bring that back. Because honestly, it was close. That was a tug of war.
It was. It absolutely was. Inkblot is a map that's very prone to knockouts in my experience and in my eyes, which is always a fun time. But even no matter how close like an Inkblot game is, 90% of the time, one of the teams will knock out, which is interesting. There's not a lot of maps that we have like that, where even if it's a close game, somebody will knock out.
You know, they always tell me 90% of the time, you'll get knocked out 100% of the time.
Yeah, exactly. Every time you get knocked out, sort of. Somebody always wins.
100. Okay, so if you have 100% of the 90% of that 100%, that's a 100. That's 9. Hold on, let me pull out the abacus. So it's 90 times 100. And that is 9,000. 90,000? 9,000?
I sure have a history degree, Oski.
Yeah. Regardless, I don't think I'm doing any sort of math or any favors for this. So I'm sorry, algebra teacher from years ago. I apologize for that. But that's okay. We got our map number 2 coming up here for our next game. We're going to see what we're going to be diving into this, because Splat Zones is not the only game mode out here. We got Tower Control coming up.
Tower Control Museum is always a really fun map, and I love seeing that ballpoint come out. Such an incredible weapon, really great in the meta right now. That Inkjet has recently gotten a lot of huge buffs that enable it. Ballpoint has that great mobility, has short range paint, long range kill, really just incredible. And the Tri-Stringer coming out again will put a lot of pressure on them, so the 2 backlines will kind of be a nuisance to each other, which is always great.
So right at the start, we see Caffeine doing, yet again, that opening push. You know, you see it's going to be way more orange at the beginning just based on the weapons that they're going to be having. Hamiko has to play a little bit more passive. Already shooting off that laser just to try to get people going. But unfortunately, got some trades coming on, and we got some battles knocks.
Oh, and that is a triple coming out of the sploosh there. That is absolutely huge. The splash going to be forced to try and back off. You're not going to be able to, though, as Hayden is able to chase them down. And we are seeing right now Hamiko being able to really start setting up, really trying to move forward. Ballpoint probably going to get on tower relatively soon, taking it from the splash. But I could be wrong there. As we are seeing the brush trying to move in on right, trying to get this machine out of position, get them to do something, but the Booyah Bomb going to come out instead, going to be able to take them out with the help of the sploosh, and that is absolutely a great start to the push, but nobody's on the tower.
That's the biggest thing. I mean, you know, it's an objective-based gameplay, but you can't really go for the objective while they're still, like, in the zone. Even though it's a 4v3, and that's a pretty opportune time to go for it, sometimes it's just not the wave, especially when you go in there, you're trying to push up, you're trying to make the battle away from the tower. You want to be as far away from the tower as possible so you can move it pretty much uncontested, right?
Yeah. You do want it to be uncontested, contested, but also you don't want to hesitate too long. They definitely could have had that checkpoint already, and now they're going to have to start working through it again, but now they have a 1 down situation, another goes down, and they're going to have to give up this push. And while they had 2 down a lot of those moments, they just weren't able to capitalize on it because nobody sat on the tower.
It's just they're just kind of staggering at this point. Nothing's really happening. You know, obviously you don't want to go for the tower when 2 of your junior guys are down. So we got Inbound hiding behind this tower, trying to get a snipe with the strike trigger. Manages to find a mark on Satan. That's going to be a huge push for Caffeine to try to get something going here, right? Here goes the team to go in. We got some specials ready to rock here, and very huge in the back line here. Inbound just trying to find their mark, trying to get some paint coverage. But again, they're not really going on that tower. I think it hesitated a little bit too long because now the person that got splatted is respawning in. There's another one on top of that, another push. Here comes the first checkpoint, trying to get through that first one. We break it. Pretty easy one to go for, and we're taking the lead.
Yeah, we are. It was really great usage of specials there coming out of Caffeine. Really able to fully just shut this down a little bit. Brush able to find a pick on that sploosh. Absolutely huge. That is a 2 down situation. We do see 1 down on Hamiko, but it's just the splash left up, and I believe they just respawned. And that is a wipeout for Caffeine.
Caffeine taking this all the way to the 3rd checkpoint right now. Hamiko's stuck between a rock and a hard place one more time. They got to get back in there and get something going. There's a Booyah Bomb just to get the color throwing. We got the zipline Spider-Man action getting in there. There's a big pick on Satan. Gonna try to get back in there. Yeah, another wipeout with 2 people left on the board. That's going to be Caffeine taking away game number 2 in a pretty dominant fashion.
Very dominant, I would say. There was a chance there at the beginning with that opening push for Hamiko, and they just were never able to get on the tower enough to capitalize it. They hesitated too long. They let too many players move forward, and since they didn't have anybody to stay on the tower, a push just was not able to happen.
Yeah, it was, dude, that was just such a struggle to watch because you saw so many times where Hamiko actually had like the numbers lead, right? It was like 4v3, sometimes it was a 4v2.
Yeah.
And I think they just were too afraid to push the tower right away? Or
I don't think it was too afraid. I think they were wanting to play too forward and too aggressive. They wanted those picks, and they forgot to communicate that somebody needed to get on the tower.
Usually the backliner is like the best role.
You're going to see the backliner or the splash usually.
Yeah.
Because the splash can pop the crab on that tower.
Which is basically a backliner at that point.
I mean, yeah, it's a combination of a splatling and an X-Blow.
It does it all. It even cooks your meals. Does your laundry.
I don't think it does your laundry. I think the machine's for that.
Hey, you know what? That's pretty good. But hey, we still got map number 3 here. Hamiko could bring this back.
There's always a chance for a reverse sweep.
Bro, can you imagine a reverse 3-0 at this point?
It would be pretty fun.
I think
it's
that's
doable.
Something I want. You know what? If I Prage, if we get all game 5s today,
that would be sick.
I would be huge fan.
Yeah.
Huge fan of that. I was actually having this discussion with some other people, right? Because
yeah.
when you talk about Splatoon and you're talking about upsets, right?
Yeah.
Losing to people that you're not supposed to lose to based on the seeding. It doesn't really happen as much in a game like Splatoon. I think that's because it's a team-based game. When you have, let's say one player is not playing up to snuff, like they're having kind of a bad day. You have 3 players to cover your slack.
Exactly.
It's different when you're like in a 1v1 game like Smash.
Yeah, I think you do see bigger upsets in things like Smash a lot.
Because if you're having a bad day, you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have people to rely on. What do we got going on here?
We are seeing some comp changes. We are seeing a sub come in. We are seeing some shifts going on here. Love seeing that Nautilus. Nautilus and Blast are going to struggle a bit with paint here, though, because they don't have a good painting weapon other than the Sploosh, and their Sploosh has been running in the whole time so far. Sim comp coming out here out of out of Caffeine. And I'm very interested in seeing how this goes, just because Hamiko is going to struggle a lot with paint with that comp.
Yeah, also we got another game mode out here, Clam Blitz. For those that are not unaware of how this game mode works, you want to pick up 8 of those clams and create a power clam. You need the power clam to break open the hoops, throw in the other clams, and the goal is to get to 0 points or at least be the less amount of points at the end of the race. Now, we got so much carnage happening right now with this hammer. That is a double. That didn't even look like it hit him. It was like from all the way up above. Jump on them with a hammer, bonk him on the head. And now we got some, a little bit of advantage here for Hamiko. They got 6 clams already on the team 7. They need 1 more. There's the power clam. It's going to expose their position to everyone on the enemy team. Everyone's going to know where you are. So here we go. Go back in there. Gets a pick on Taco. Yo, Soda?
It's
time. Soda! It's time. Here we go. They got the Ziggy's getting in there. Throws in the power clam with the mallet, too. If that would have been a pick, that would have been humongous. They managed to escape. Super jump back. Realized it was a 1v4. Had to get out of dodge. And now we have 77 points remaining. So they only put 1 clam in there. Okay, there's another one.
So I will say what we're seeing pretty consistently out of Hamiko here is they're able to set up the potential for these great pushes, and then they forget to capitalize on the advantage they've created by having the things they need to have the objective.
Bro, if you want to scrap, let them scrap. You know, that's what I'm saying.
It's a good time to watch. I'm not complaining.
Let them fight. Let the fighters fight. That's all I want to see. And honestly, at this point, if you just keep fighting and you keep winning your battles, you'll win. Is it the optimal solution? No, but I want to watch it anyways.
Understandable. I will say that, like, especially on this map, you can get through mid so fast that if you make one mistake,
It's
can
over.
be
It's snowballs.
This is a very snowball-heavy map. People don't always talk about it, but especially with Clan Blitz, this is a snowball-heavy map. We are still just seeing a skirmish out here in mid, but this tactical is going to enable the skirmish to be even faster, and we're actually seeing Hamiko doing a great job of playing off of each other to win these skirmishes.
Caffeine could easily bring this back because they do have a power clam as well as the pity clam on top of that. We're seeing a little bit of a push here from Hamiko. A little bit of battles going on. 1v1 has to find this
But
pick.
nobody
Unfortunately,
has clams.
could it? That was such a bad spot. Now Satan coming out here trying to escape. You see all the green on top of them as they're just trying to escape out of like Danger City, getting out of the danger zone. Now we've got another battle coming up here on the top left. Endbound struggling to get any sort of like way line. Still holding on that power clan they built like a game ago almost.
Yeah.
But oh, look at that blast. Oh my gosh. Cannot believe that caught him. And now we have everyone going down. Another hoop broken in Hamiko's favor. They're bringing down the points. There's only a Nautilus left on the map. They try to get away, get a wipe out and clean it out. And Caffeine now has a little bit of an advantage here. They have another power clam, and they're going to get another pity clam dropping right after.
Yeah, so I will say they're not in a bad situation right now because they'll have those two power clams, and then they just need to get one little clam in, and here goes the power. Zipcast does go down in the process, so they're not going to have that to help them out. They don't have the other power clam, so they might be trying to keep the basket open long enough to create a jump in for them. We're seeing the machine being able to move to this basket, keeping it open. There's going to be a jump in, but they're not going to be close enough to just throw it in the basket, and they didn't have the power clam, so that is going to be that push dead. The Tri-Stringer just trying to survive using that whale, but does get taken out. But there is still plenty of time left in this game for Caffeine to make it work.
This is one of the hard parts about Clam Blitz is when you don't. The goal should not just be open it up and try to get those 20 points, right? Because you're giving them a pity clam, and they can snowball with that, especially on this map, really easily. So like we're right there, they only broke open the hoop once, and they almost tied. Meanwhile, Hamiko's broke open it twice. They do have an advantage yet again with that
But it's
pity
not
clam.
that strong as two of them go down.
Yeah, this is looking kind of tough for Hamiko. They only got a blaster left, holding onto the power clam, and his position is exposed. Going to be able to get called out there yet again. Here comes Caffeine trying to get back in there, build up the power clam, going to break it open the barrier. We got another power clam, dunking an easy 20 points. Gets called out before it actually gets in.
But the brush is there though.
49er trying to get that back in, trying to fight out. Here
Oh,
goes
but they're in the Zipcaster. They can't pick it up.
Unfortunate. Look at them. They're desperate. Another battle out there, and they fought valiantly, but unfortunately could not pick up that power clam. They need two more clams to take this lead, and things are not looking in their favor.
So they don't actually need two clams. They need one power clam to go in, and they have lead.
Oh, you're right with the plus 10? It's only a plus 10.
Well,
You're absolutely right.
because they didn't get any points off, so they just reset penalty to 10. That's how that works.
Oh, my gosh.
And so they have the opportunity here, but they're just going in one at a time and going down.
Staggering. Oh, that's a good bubble. Put it
That's
right
a
there.
great bubble.
You're like in their zone, making it so you can easily push it in there, break it up again. You already had a lead. Let's make it even further.
Yeah.
4v3, a 3v3. They still got power. 2v2. Oh my God, they're just trading at this point. Ziggy trying to go for it. Ziggy goes down, but Adhaven's still in there. They finally get a wipe out. 25 points remaining.
Yeah.
We were about to go into overtime. We're going to have a pity clam drop down. They're going to try to build a power clam on top of that, but Caffeine needs it.
But nobody's getting close to grab that pity clam right now either. So we are seeing a normal clam getting made almost here by the Tri-Stringer. Gonna go down to the blasters though. And we are seeing, we're going into overtime here. It is fully possible for Caffeine to win this, but nobody's grabbed that pity clam, and they need to get to the basket. They don't have a jump set up. They don't have the pity clam. They're in a terrible situation. There's only 20 seconds once overtime starts here, and they are running out of time. Somebody's going to have to try and jump in with it, but it doesn't look like they're going to. They're going to try and run in. Tri-Stringer going to be able to get it in, but they're not going to have any follow-up because the Octobrush is in Zipcaster and goes down. It's just the Tri-Stringer trying to survive, trying to create openings, but there are no clams, and this probably will be game, even though they managed to get that power in.
They were trying so hard, yet so far. Hamiko finally putting a point on the board. They're not done just yet. 2 more points for them to try to make this reverse sweep. The game, honestly, the Clam Blitz coming in clutch.
It was, and I would love to point out, and one thing I really loved to see was how often they were using that tactical or on their pushes so that they could get all of those trades they were getting and not be punished, like, at all for it, really. No consequences there.
Dude, there was actually, I feel like, I don't know if there was like a miscommunication or what, but there was like a time when we saw Caffeine throw a Booyah Bomb right on top of the goal, right? Like
it seems like they were ready.
Time.
Yeah, it seems like they were waiting on somebody to grab that pity they had and jump in, and just nobody did it.
And that's like unfortunate because a very valid strategy that I see a lot happen in solo queue sometimes is when you just pick up the pity clam and you someone's pinging here, come to me, and so you jump to them and you just throw it in before you explode. And like that was what kind of we were expecting, especially with the Booyah Bomb kind of being used as like the smoke screen for you to like get in there. Like I thought that was like prime time, but unfortunately they just couldn't get that coordination to rock out. So their push was a little bit lackluster.
Yeah.
They only got like a power plant clam and a couple of singular clams on top of that. So that's going to be, you know, they're still up 2-1. They got that advantage. Even if they lose this next game, we're going to still go into a Game 5 situation. But it's nice to see that Hamiko is still alive and breathing and well.
Absolutely. And it's also really interesting to see just how much their comp changed for that game, because it changed drastically. I was worried that they wouldn't have enough paint, but they managed to keep it down for themselves, which with that comp is a bit surprising to me.
Yeah, right? Like, it was not orthodox, you know?
I don't mind unorthodox. I'm just
Same.
I mean, there just was no paint, and
Listen.
so they just had to win their fights, or they would have never had mid.
Listen, I'm a simple guy. If I see funny zoom weapons that are brand new to the meta, bring them on, dude. I mean,
Nautilus is climbing right now.
It's nice to see because, I mean, you know, it took a while to get those patches out to, like, you know, kind of, like, fish out what's going on, right? Because, you know, there's a little bit, we had, like, a crab infestation for a while.
A little bit.
And now the crab and Splash-O-Matic are still really good, but they're not as prevalent. You're not really seeing two Splash-O-Matics on a team anymore. And that's a, you know, sometimes you do. But, like, it's not as prevalent as it was back at Big House.
Well, but to be fair, we hadn't hit triple crab yet at Big House.
Oh, the triple crab. I want the quadruple crab. I want to see.
We did see the quadruple
I want a crab battle. 4 crabs versus crab. And also, we can't even do that anymore because now we're going to Rainmakers. So someone's going to have to hold on to that goldfish.
Yeah, we are going to have to see people hold on to that goldfish. And we are seeing a Luna Blaster come out. Always exciting to see. That is
Luna?
Yeah, and that is the one with Zipcaster. So we are just consistently seeing these Zipcasters coming out. We did see it bite him in the butt a little bit last game for 49er, not being able to throw in that power clam.
Oh, and this map, I don't really see this one as much with Rainmaker of all things. I see a lot of like Clam Blitz, splash zones, but with Rainbow, like I feel like this could easily just like you pick it up and you're gonna get that checkpoint because you're so close to it, right? Especially when you're gonna get that wipeout for Hamiko. This is huge. Ziggy's already picking it up, gonna push it all the way to the checkpoint. Other people on the team gonna go in there and try to paint as yellow as possible. Unfortunately, they couldn't get that far away, but there's a lot of yellow. Gonna break that checkpoint, easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yeah, really just incredible job there as they were able to quickly clear that out. This is a map where we can see pushes. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of sharking going on right there, really trying to find a pick, able to find it on the machine. But we're seeing just how much of a snowball map this is. In 31, not that strong of a push on this map. I'm going to be completely honest. There is no such thing as a strong push on this map. You KO, or you hope that you manage to hold on.
It's the hill. It's an uphill battle, literally, if you're on the opposing side.
And you're sliding right down it otherwise.
Yeah, you can't win, Anakin. I have the high ground. It's a very real statement coming into this map. Yes. We've got 31 points here remaining for Hamiko. They still got the lead here. We see them trying to get back onto that goldfish, but it's just not going to happen. It's going to reset all the way back to neutral, center of the map. Rainmaker, it's going to be clearly in favor of Caffeine. Look at all that purple in that center map.
Yeah, and Caffeine's just looking for a good opportunity to start setting things up here. We're seeing a crab tank come out, going to get popped, going to be trying to find things on this right side. Does force somebody very out of position, which will allow the Rainmaker to go forward and get the Luna away from it, which is absolutely huge because the Luna's blast radius does insane damage and is way larger than any other blaster in the game. Yeah.
Looks like we're going to have yet another easy push. Look at that chase. You saw that? They got away with that? How did they not get caught blowing up that wall?
They were a tactical tri-slosher. They were so speedy, and it's really hard to do anything when somebody doesn't need to be afraid of how long it'll take them to respawn, and they just have buffed movement speed.
Right, I normally don't suggest you drink those energy drinks, kids, but if it's going to make you go up those walls that fast, like,
I mean,
go for it.
I am surprised that it's not Caffeine out here with the energy drinks.
I'm saying. But now we got 61 points. That checkpoint's finally going to be broken here for Caffeine. Now they're stuck in this corner a little bit. Going to have to pop that special just to try to get something going. Goes in the enemy back line just to be like a distraction or something so you get forced to look away. 49 are getting 2 KOs on top of that. Got another KO right there in the corner. Going to be able to get them to try to pop open that Rainmaker. Going to stall that push ever so slightly. They're trying to break it open. That was a brute force play. Trying to get through. Try to just go below 31.
It's a brute force play that I agree with, though. Yeah. I think it was the right move in that situation because you weren't staying up there anyway. And we are seeing the Tri-Stringer trying to provide jumps in here. Does force the Nautilus out of position, so the jumps actually do manage to come in. They're not necessarily going for pop here, but they want to be around to repaint once it's popped. Satan going to try and get the pick, not going to be able to get it in time, and that is going to be lead to Caffeine.
Huge moment. Caffeine getting in there by 10 points. Now, like, the onus is on Hamiko to get something going here, right? You still got 2 minutes left on the map, though. Plenty of time to try to get that. Probably going to go for a reset because going uphill with that is a no-no.
It's a nightmare. And they are 3 down again. And I was about to say 21's not that strong of a push, but we're looking at a KO potential here. But the Tri-Slosher manages to take them out, but we're still going to see a potential for a pop here, considering the weapons they have up. And the Octobrush just going in.
49er?
And we are getting the KO! We get to 1 point, not quite the KO, but now I'll give them that they're safe. I'll give them that that's a safe push.
Hey, you know what? 1 point means you have to KO at this point, and that's not like that's a pretty tall order, right? When it's that close to your base too on top of that, like you need a Rainmaker reset at this point. There's no way you're climbing that all the way from one zone to the other. But now we have one down on Caffeine. Gonna have to finally force them push off. They're actually gonna focus more on center map because they realize, okay, Hamiko is gonna reset at center. Let's control center because when it spawns back in, it's gonna be on our side. Look how purple it is. Look at all those the Rainmaker right next to it. That's an easy pick for Caffeine to get that.
It absolutely is. Try's gonna try and get the flank, but goes down to the Rainmaker pop, which is devastating. And we're just seeing right now, Hamiko's so scattered. They don't seem to know where they want to play off of each other. They seem a little bit confused as to what they're trying to do.
But yeah, it's tough, right? Because now, like, Hamiko has to get in there. They have to take out N-Bound. There's no pressure for Caffeine to go forward. They don't even have to. They can just hold on to that until the game's over.
Yeah, I mean, there's pressure for them not to back up for at least a few more seconds, but at some point there's going to be enough time. Yeah, so they aren't going to be able to just completely stall it out. They will probably have to go down at some point, and their teammates will want to make sure they're not around if the Rainmaker explodes. Because if you hold the Rainmaker too long, it will just explode on you. Satan trying to sneak forward here, taking advantage of those curling bombs. Not a sub-weapon we see utilized very often. Satan almost managing to pull that off. Ziggy managing to get a great pick on that machine. And huge from the Zipcaster. Absolutely huge there from Umbre.
They can't stop. They got to stop with the reset now. They have to pick that up, and they got to just go as far as they can because there's only 10 seconds left on the map. This is going to be such a difficult push for Hamiko. I don't know, man.
Look, I always love to believe it's doable, but a push to one, even on... The push to one is where I mean, it's not
2v4,
over, but it's
come on, it's 2v4. Hayden's stuck between that wall. Here comes the cavalry coming out from Caffeine, but hold on a second. Wait.
So here's the problem. Even though they're able to stay alive for this long, they don't have time to get across the map at this point. They don't.
Listen, if they can get...
There's not enough time.
Listen, I'm trying to be optimistic out here, Nox, and they're playing out of their mind. Look at Hayden trying to stall. They haven't got down yet, but eventually going to get that pick, and that's going to be Caffeine taking that set 3-1. And, dude, that was so tough for Hamiko at the very end because the second you saw Caffeine make that extra push, we saw how Hamiko could not get it back to center.
Yeah, and it's so hard to do. That map is such an uphill battle. And so it's a map where we see these really big pushes. Like a push to 31 on any other map is easy to defend. But not on Flounder Heights.
Flounder Heights, it's very difficult with Rainmaker.
Well, it's very different than any other map in the game for every mode. You play it entirely differently.
Splatoon is bizarre on that map. It's like you got two different zones, and it's just...
It's why I agree with it being in tournaments, because it forces teams to show that they can adapt.
I like that thought process a lot. You know, let's just make every map legal. I think.
I agree. You're the only person that agrees with me on that.
I was being sarcastic.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Devastating news to me.
You know, let's turn on Turf War.
Sure.
How far are you taking this?
I'll run with any bit. You know this.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, you know what? We can go and we should have a tournament where it's 1v1. So, you only have one.
Those have happened.
Listen, we should have a tournament.
I love a gimmick.
We should have a tournament where it's it's 4 players on one team.
Yeah.
And the other team is 1 player. But
okay.
But the 4 players can't shoot.
Only sub-weapons?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the 1 player, it's Rainmaker. So they have to pick up the Rainmaker and see how
It's that one Mario Party minigame where you have the football?
I like me some Mario Party, Nox, and I want to see some of that action coming out here. I love the randomness from it, too.
I mean, we definitely saw some randomness coming out of this hammer managing to get those incredible picks.
Brother, that was incredible. I mean, you even saw the hammer bop from up top. That was a Mario Party minigame. I've played that before. You see the whack-a-moles with the toads or the moles or whatever? Not the toads. I'm sorry. I would never wish violence upon the toads. But the moles, though, the moles can suck it. They got to hit those guys with the mallet.
Yeah, well, especially because there's that game where they hit you with the mallet. That's just cheating.
That's why I need the revenge.
Exactly.
Bro, that new Mario Party, it was a long time coming, man. I was very happy to see that. The old school minigames coming back up with the good maps and everything. Such a blast to, play both online and offline. Same thing with Splatoon, It's really cool about these LANs is that you actually get to play the game offline.
It's so fun. And I would love to see Umbrella come out because they can function here.
What do you mean?
Oh,
Brella-
yeah. Brella is so
Yeah.
great online. We have great online services.
So, like, with the offline mode, what actually is really cool about the LAN is that, like, so, you know, if you, like, take a look at, like, the equipment that you have at the tournament setups, right? It's all
Yeah.
about those routers and the wires to get everything hooked up. Because
Yeah.
it takes a second, but when
It
you get that
does.
stuff hooked up, it's a really cool setup because, you like, I don't know.
It's
The game
so
feels
fast,
different.
and your teammates are right there.